Hey, what's up, world, and welcome to another edition of the Take One Spoilercast. And this one we'll be talking about Jigsaw. Now, I put out my non-spoiler review, and this is a spoiler review. I feel like I have to constantly tell people, even though it has spoiler in the name, the Take One Spoilercast. But yeah, so this is your warning. If you haven't seen this movie, check out my non-spoiler review. Go see the movie and come back to here and go ahead and continue listening on past this point. If you have seen it, then go ahead and keep listening. If you haven't seen it and you just don't give a damn about spoilers, you just want to hear somebody talk about it, continue to listen. I will be forever grateful and all that good stuff. Matter of fact, you go ahead, hit the likes up right now, and then go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit that notifications so you'll be notified for any video that drops up on my channel, which I have a lot dropping on my channel every single week. I try to pump out as many videos as possible, but Spoilercast is one of them. And this is going up late. I've been busy, just been busy. At first, I really wasn't going to do a spoiler cast for Jigsaw, but I'm like, hey, what the hell? I might as well just go ahead and do it and just put it out. So here is my spoiler cast for Jigsaw to get more into it without just constantly talking. So yeah, man, it's this movie, and I actually did like it. This movie, it didn't try to go above and beyond what the other ones did, because it seemed like every single movie was trying to go bigger than the last one and all this stuff and try and go like, just trying to do all this extra stuff. And this one just kind of went back to the basics. This one was, I think the budget was like 10 million, so it wasn't even that much. They really didn't do too much, and I was surprised that there wasn't really too much gore like it usually be. Like, in a sense, it was kind of like the right amount of gore. They showed the right amount of stuff, even though they did show a lot of gruesome things, but it wasn't, it wasn't like over exaggerated, where it was just crazy blood all over the place and all this stuff. Just kind of like the other Saw movies as it further progressed, where it just tried to be just a gore fest and all that stuff. This movie, it kind of toned it down a little bit. It really did, and in a sense, I can kind of appreciate that. Even though, if you've seen all the Saw films, or if you're a fan of it and all that stuff, you come to grow to get it familiar with just it being gore porn, just blood, guts, or whatever the hell. So that's basically what you expect from these Saw movies, or movies like that. And so when it came to this, it was like, that's basically what I was expecting. So it kind of like, I ain't gonna exceed my expectations. It kind of like threw me by surprise. So I mean, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing when a movie does that, whatever. And if you've seen my non-spoiler review, I liked the film. I found it to be very entertaining. It wasn't the best out of the franchise. It wasn't unique or whatever. And I felt like this movie, it kind of really, in order to be really, really necessary, because in a sense, it really wasn't necessary. This movie, it was enjoyable, but they said that they wasn't going to do another Saw movie, even though they did say that the Saw 3D, Saw 7 was the final one. They said that they weren't going to do another one unless they got a good story. And this is a good story, but it kind of like, it still was kind of like, is this movie even necessary? Like, is it necessary to have this? It doesn't really reveal anything more about John. I mean, it does. I mean, we do get like a backstory of like John and his first contraption and what he built and all that stuff. Because I don't know, like, I maybe had to go back to the first Saw movie, but I could have swore like his first contraption was the first one that we saw in Saw. With his first as we know, it's not his first, his, what would you call it, predecessor, or a successor. I think it's successor. Yeah, like what is it? Predecessor? I think predecessor is like the person that's like your mentor, but yeah, successor. That's what it is. You thought that the girl was his successor, his first one, but in this movie we find out that she's not his first one. That he had basically he kind of has four, in a sense when you think about it, because you have the guy up in this movie as being his first, and then you have old girl in the first film, in the first contraption that we were introduced to, and then we have the guy who was the cop who turned rogue and this and that, who basically was the antagonist for like the last few Saw films. And then we found out that the guy in the original one who was locked in the room, we found out that he was the final successor, in a sense, before this movie. It's crazy. Yeah, so I guess you could say his final successor. And so and like, of course I'm saying all this stuff even though it's spoiler. This is a spoiler just for Jigsaw. It's a spoiler for all the other movies. Like, if you haven't seen the other movies, why were you watching Jigsaw? I mean, it doesn't give away too much about it, but at the same time, it does give away a major plot, a spoiler plot. If you've seen Jigsaw and you haven't seen the other Saw movies, you know that John dies. You know. And that's basically what it is. And we're going to get more into it, but it's like, we get more into his story and all that stuff, and that I kind of like, but I just didn't really see that there was a reason for this movie, a legitimate reason. But in any case, there's one thing about this movie that kind of like stood out to me. I mean, it's just a little, it's so insignificant to just the overall story, but the scene in the trailer where the black girl was jogging and stuff like that. I don't know, like, just the way that they filmed it, it seemed like she was going to have some type of part in the movie. Even though when you look at the trailer again, she's only in that one scene. But it was like she's jogging past people and they're looking in one direction. It's like, why wasn't any other female screaming? She turns around and she just immediately starts screaming. Why was she the only female, or just the only person to actually make a noise? Everyone else is just looking at horror and all that stuff. But why was she the only one that actually had some type of reaction to it? That didn't make sense at all. Now, I know when this movie comes to DVD, that once Cinema Sins get their hands on it, that's going to be one thing that they're going to talk about. I guarantee you. But I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, it's significant. It doesn't have anything major. It doesn't take away or give anything to this movie. It was just something that just stood out to me. So I just thought I'd throw it up in like the spoilers. But even though, it's not a spoiler, it's in the trailer. But still, it's kind of like whatever. But in any case, that one scene, basically, when they're locked inside the room. Now I'm trying to remember this. When they're locked inside there, and like the girl was trying to figure out, like, basically when she robbed the lady, and she stole the money from her purse and all that stuff, and I guess she could have saved her because she had an inhaler pump, but she didn't do it. She chose not to. First of all, how did Jigsaw even know about that? I guess, I don't know. But in any case, maybe he did show how he knew about that. Or maybe it was just random and that was just one point that she remembered. But in any case, it showed the scene where she took the money. And it was relating to the game or whatever. But how did she know how much money she took? Because by the way she made it seem like it was like a good little minute ago. So how would she know that she took exactly $3.53? If I stole money from somebody, some dollars and change, unless I don't have no change in my pocket, which I usually kind of keep change in my pocket, I really don't sit there and count it. I can see the $3. Maybe, you remember that. But even then, it's like if you're recalling something that happened a long time ago, especially years, you not have to remember the exact change. Now, I mean, you could probably go like, it was so significant in her life because old girl, she died and she could have helped her, but she didn't. And that, like, a lot of the stuff that, like, when there's something major that happens in somebody's life, it sticks with them. And so, because it stuck with her, that was one of the things that stuck with her. Okay, you can put that, but in the same sense, it still doesn't make any sense. It still doesn't make any sense that you remember that specific thing. But that, I guess that's just me. But that, I guess you could say that's a nitpick, but that still didn't make no sense. And it's just a lot of the stuff goes with, like, kind of coincidental type things. Like, how would you, I mean, I guess you could say when dude came to the door, that he set the trap for anybody if they wanted to escape or whatever, that's, they'll get caught up in that trap. Cool and all. But, like, how, I don't know, like, it's just a lot of the stuff that's constructed just kind of like falls on, just chance that they may happen to do that. And it just, man. And here's time for another nitpick. When they're going into the apartment and the woman, she basically, I ain't even got the names up, but she takes okay, so I'm looking up the names right now. Eleanor. So the character Eleanor, when she takes the character Logan, which we find out that's the successor to John, the first one, his first one. Basically, why did they leave the car running and the doors open? That's one thing I didn't get. Like, I'm just sitting there and I'm watching and I'm like, why did they leave the car running and then the doors open, knowing that they're gonna be there for a good little minute? That didn't make any sense to me. I know that's kind of like a nitpick, I guess you could say, but it just, I don't know, like, that's just something I had to point out because I'm watching them like, yo, what the fuck. But in any case, so next after that, what else we got in my notes? Yeah. And one thing that I did like about it is that you do find out a little bit more. And as you finding out more about certain people, you just find out, like, man, these motherfuckers is like, I don't know, like, I ain't gonna say that they're completely dirty. But at the same time, when you find out the girl and what she did to the baby, that shit is just, it's kind of crazy. Like, that, like, but I don't know, like, they try to do a good, they try to do a good job in explaining how he knew about certain things, but it all comes down to, like, this movie was not necessary. Not to say it doesn't take away from what I said in the non-spoiler. I still enjoyed this movie, but it really didn't need to be, like, I don't know, like, it's somewhat of a just a kind of prequel. It kind of like it toys with the line of being a sequel prequel, but more of a sequel than it is a prequel, because it does go back and it has a lot of just stuff to do with everything beforehand, which puts me in the realm of, well, actually puts me in the talking about, they actually did a good job in basically fooling us and making us think that John was alive. Now I'm sitting there thinking, like, how in the fuck is he alive? Because I remember him getting killed, and it wasn't one of those kills where it was like, he got shot off camera, or we didn't actually see him die or something like that, so he comes back, cancer is healed and all this stuff. Like, he got killed. I mean, it's kind of fuzzy on like exactly what it was, but I believe he got shot, and he's dying of cancer, whatever, and on the operating table, and he got, I believe he got shot or something like that. But what I remember distinctly is that it was definitive. Like, there is no question that John died. And so it's like, God, like, like, how is he still alive? And just how they did it, it's like you should actually, when you look back at it, it's like, damn, I should have expected it, because Saw has these twists and turns and stuff like that, and it's like that should have been one where it was like, okay, yeah, I think this is kind of like a flashback or whatever, but it doesn't really show it that it is a flashback. But they did a good job with blending it and making it seem like it was real and that it wasn't, by blending like new cases to an old case and all that stuff, or just basically the present to the past of just how they did it up in the movie. And that was kind of one thing that I did like about it, and that's what kind of made it blend in a little bit more to where you couldn't tell whether it was present or past. Not even that you were expecting it or suspecting it or whatever. It was just like, they did it good. That's really all I can say about it, because they had me fooled. And then on top of that, you had two twists up in there. You had that twist, and then you also had the twist of the Logan, the main character, him actually being the guy who was behind everything. Now, I like how they did it to where like the lasers come down and then all this blood started coming out, which that's one thing that I literally should have looked back. Well, looking back now, I should have expected it, because lasers, I thought it was like the type of lasers, like, I don't know, like, because of the way the cop died with the lasers cutting through his head at the end, and basically his head splitting apart. Okay, cool. Which reminded me of like Resident Evil. But in any case, or like, or was it Maze Runner too? Yeah, I think it's Maze Runner as well, or whatever. But in any case, yeah, just the way it cut through his head, I thought that that's what was gonna happen, but it didn't do that to him. Like, the lasers went through his head and just stayed at that area. I thought it was kind of like, in a sense, to where it's like they're not strong enough lasers to where it's like you can pass it through like an arm and it won't do anything. But if you keep it on a certain area for like a few seconds, it'll start cutting into there. And so I thought that's what it was. And then when he came back, when he woke up and came back up, like, he was looking kind of crazy. Like, that was actually a pretty scary, not ain't gonna say scary scene, but creepy ass scene. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. And just how he went about explaining how, like, what happened and all that stuff. And it was actually a pretty decent thing. But it was, like I said, it was like all coincidence, because Jigsaw, for some reason, saw something in him to basically bring him into the fray to carry on his work and stuff like that. But it's like, when he got dragged into the thing, first of all, how did you know that he was going to wake up in time to actually, in a sense, kind of survive, in a sense, or whatever? I don't know. Because he was there and he was just kind of like sleep the whole time. Like, he could not get woken up or waking up or whatever. And so when he hits his back up against the blades, it's like, how would you even know? Even though you came out there that quick, how would you even be there? How would you not know that he could possibly have died? And then if he died, then what would you be at right now? So that's kind of like, I don't know, like, it was too coincidental that you came just in time to save him from being cut up. And it just, I don't know. It is what it is. What else did I got in my notes? I had this one thing in my notes, but I don't know what the hell I was trying to say. And then it's like, why did the guy Ryan have to die? I get old girl dying, but why did he have to die? You know, I thought this was a game of survival and all this stuff, and he ended up was about to be the core survivor, and so he ends up dying because of her mishap, because she wants to be stupid and whatever, uses the gun and then basically do, you know, destroy the key that can unlock him and set him free and all that stuff. It was like, it was actually a pretty cool scene because he has the keys in the bullets and stuff. And so with her basically shooting it, not only does she kill herself, but she destroys the chances. But why is his freedom in her hands? You know, like that, I don't know, like that just didn't sit right with me. It's like he didn't, like he was surviving, like he could have survived the game, and because of her mishap that he ends up dying, like that didn't make any sense to me. I was just like, what the hell? But I guess it is what it is. Is there anything else I gotta say about this movie? Not really. Like I said, I enjoyed this film a lot. Well, I ain't gonna say a lot, but I enjoyed it. I like that they kept it small. I like that they did it, but this movie, it had a small budget. Even though it was good, like I said, I can't even continue. Well, I can't even stop saying this, but it wasn't. There was no need for it. You know, there was really no need for this movie to be made, or they never gave us really a good reason. And just on top of that, it kind of had a VOD feel to it. That's basically what I kind of got from it. It had a VOD feel to it. And, I mean, like I said, it's nothing really kind of too much against it. But, I mean, it is what it is. If they got a part 2 or just a sequel coming out to this, of course, I'm going to be there watching it. I just want to know where they're going to go from this. I mean, they lost their surprise with thinking, like, is John alive? Is he not? And it's like we found out that he's not alive, that this is kind of a mixture in between past and present, which was actually done pretty well. And so, yeah, I think that's it. That's all that I have to say about Jigsaw. And this concludes my Take 1 spoiler cast of the movie Jigsaw. And I hope you guys like this. If you did, go ahead, hit that thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet. I will be having more content loaded up on my channel, just different content that I have now. I'm still working on things, and I know I'm talking about it, but I still have things in plan that I'm going to do. I do have several things dropping every single week on my channel, and hope you guys stick around and go ahead and, you know, do what you do. Watch it, support me. You know, get my subscriptions up and, you know, my likes up and all that good stuff. And I would thank you. I would thank you so much for it. I really, really appreciate it. And so, yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and end it right there. And I will catch you guys on the next spoiler cast. Peace.